Really? The archives are the shining point. Look at this guy, Traxton, coming in here with a positive. You better quit. You cannot be too positive around here. People will eviscerate you. How are you doing, everybody? Welcome in. It is the Wednesday edition, the very last Wednesday stream in November 2024. Has this year flown by? It certainly feels that way. It's been crazy. Absolutely redonkulous. But, well, that's just that's how life goes, apparently. As you age, and time just flies by. It's certainly true. Welcome in. I love and appreciate every single person here. Thank you for being here. Today, topics that we're going to discuss. Today is the last day to get your grades in for November. We wrap it up generally about 48 hours after launch, just to make sure that we have time to go through the hundreds and thousands of responses that y'all provide, which again, a huge thank you to that. So that's awesome. We're going to go over the latest and feedback plans from the devs, the things that we can talk about. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know. So beginning of the video, before anybody thinks anything, it's not going to be one of those where I'm like telling y'all something that you might not know. This is mainly going to be kind of a recap of some of the more recent things they have said, and I want to make sure that everybody is aware of them. So I want to cover that. Also going to go over this week's schedule for those that have missed it or maybe didn't see it. We'll go over this week's schedule before we have the new arc, and yeah, all of that. I'm going to just make sure I got everything pulled up correctly. I'm looking for the dev post I made. Here it is. Found it. All right, good. So I got that. We can discuss that. Got all the things ready. We're good to go. Welcome in. And then, of course, tomorrow, if you're American, if you have freedom, it's Thanksgiving. We'll be telling everyone what we're thankful for. Yes, we're going to do that. Appreciate y'all. All right. Thanks for that. You don't read? Good. Yeah, reading is overrated. Who needs to read? It's not like people read the story missions in Star Trek Fleet Command. It's not like people read the, hit calendars. It's like, how do crazy gingers have content channels? Like, how can this even work? It's thankfully because many of you out there are lazy. And I appreciate Brandon and the rest so much that y'all would rather listen to me ramble than actually go find the information for yourself. I cannot tell you how grateful me and my family are. So thank you for being you. Thank you. Connor, good to see you. Bo's good to see you. Alcatraz, B-Tealing, Big CJ, Samstone, Frederick, Anam, Mauricio Ramirez. Ooh, what a fancy name. Ooh, powerful. The Major Samo is here. She's amazing. If you haven't checked her out on Twitch, you should. Traxton, of course, Falcon, Crouch, and Jedi Q. Dale, Solar Flares, Frederick, Tular, Furry Puggle, what a name. Matt, Brigadier, everybody, welcome in. Let's go ahead and get it crazy, get it started. You have no freedom today, or no freedom day tomorrow, but I'm still thankful for revenues. Thank you, Major Samo. Flirting will get you everywhere in life and on this stream. Now, during the stream, of course, I will be going through all my clicks because even though the game has had improvements this month, let's not pretend like it's enough improvements to do away with the years and years and years of clicks that have been added. So I will be doing that. Feel free to ask your questions. If there's anything on the screen you want to see, we can, of course, bring that up. So we'll get through it. Okay, how are we doing? Thank you, Falcon, for dropping the links. Again, the first thing I wanted to hit on was the survey. If y'all have not done the survey yet, today's the last day. So for those who don't know, we do a survey every month. This is our second year of doing it. Now, I will go ahead and tell you, of the people who responded first or so far, this is the first time in 2 years we might have quality over quantity. Now, specifically, the quality over quantity question only covers this year's surveys, right? But this has if things go how they currently are. So I say this, if you were out there and you thought this month was the worst thing ever, you better get your opinion in to make sure that we know that. But so far, based on the gradings, this is the most positive players have been about the month as a whole. However, I do want to make sure and acknowledge that does not mean it was perfect. There was an uptick in bugs and stability issues, and that is absolutely noted in this survey. And I actually already had a discussion with the CM team with Hamster yesterday about that, bringing that up like, hey, you did really good here, but let's focus on these negatives. So don't worry. I'm not going to just sit here and parade around and wave flags that everything's amazing. Simply putting that this month has significantly improvement in terms of the major things that we're looking for, but that's only because y'all are providing that opinion. So if you don't agree, you need to get it in. And if you do agree, you need to get it in, because the more people that respond, well, then the more data points we have and the more accurate we can be with what we say. And all this information, I'm happy to share with anybody, whether it be a content creator or member. And if you remember, if you go to the very end of this, you can actually see the grades for the entire year and actually the year prior to that. And I will go ahead and put this on the screen for those of you who don't want to just sit there and click through the survey, because I would rather y'all actually do the survey instead of just clicking through it. So above my head, you should now see these are the total letter grades. Now, I do want to reiterate a point because this came up in the comment section of the YouTube video. Remember, the focus on the final grade is the swing. You're looking at, does it swing positive, green, or swing negative, red? Because anytime you do a survey with a lot of people, you're going to get closer and closer to the middle, which means lots of, you know, low B's, high D's, C's type of deal. But if the swing is majority positive, as you can see with some of these, or if it's majority negative, I basically look at the stability or every quality run we've done so far this year. That's kind of what we're focusing on, the swings. Are we going in a good direction or a bad direction? And hopefully this month flips it around. That is at the end of the survey for those who just want to have that picture for their own sake, if they want to keep track of things. I know as players, y'all are very invested in this game. And I know that because you're coming to a content creator. And if you're willing to come here, clearly you're very invested in this game. So IT Bacon, good to see you. I will have a video out tomorrow with my thankfuls. So just letting y'all know. So anyway, if y'all have not done the survey yet, link in the chat. Thank you for those who have been sharing it. Those of you who've been participating. For those who are curious, some of the numbers, let me go ahead and give you a little bit of where it's at. So for example, oh, where's my, okay, there it is, found it. All right, so for example, so far, the IA building, let's start with that one. I think everybody can almost universally agree that was a fantastic addition. At least that's what the responses so far to the survey say. So as of now, 75.1% of people who have done the survey have given the Independent Archives building an A grade, the highest grade it could be given. Another 16.5% gave it a B. There's only 0.5% who've given it an F. There's no feature that has been released so far this year or ever in our survey that has ever gotten that few F grades. So to say they hit it out of the park with the IA building is an understatement. Now, clearly there are people who aren't as enthused about it as I am, because that there are still F grades, so it's not perfect. And there's 6% of people gave it a C so far, and then the remaining gave it a D. So you didn't get everybody, but you got like 90-something% of the people to say, yep, that was good. Scopely, pay attention. Now, I know y'all watch the videos, and I know y'all look at this stuff after I send it to you. Pay attention. Things like this, you want to expand on something, expand on this building. Clearly, you've got a winner. Moving on to Chaos Tech, not as exciting. Chaos Tech had a 3% A, 20% B, and 41% C, with the remaining being the D's and the F's. Not as exciting, but not necessarily negative, just very in the middle. I think the C grade really, speaks to that. Quality of life improvements with the speed up, also another thing getting high A grades. 57% of people giving it an A so far in the survey. Another 26% giving it a B. So, I mean, that's still like almost 80% giving it a very good grade. That is clearly, hey, Scopely, you're looking for how can you get people engaged and happy in your game again? This, like right here. Watch them ignore it, and come Tuesday, we have some random grind of 18 steps to get 2,000 currencies to get a reward that allows us to upgrade something in 8 months. We'll see what happens, but this month, y'all are at least happy. The majority of you seem to be. Anyway, communications got mostly B grades, as it's a majority. And for the infamous quality over quantity question, so far, 70% of players doing the survey have said this is a quality month over a quantity month, which would be the first time that has ever been recorded. So I'm only pointing out those positives as something that needs to be hammered home into the brains of the overlords. In that one or two people, well, I mean, when you have, anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 people do the survey, it's more than 1 or 2 people, but I think it was 10-ish, have done it. I have to go back and look, but November, clearly, for a lot of people, a lot of positive. Now, I do want to acknowledge that there are negatives. I did that in the very beginning. Stability in terms of the comments, and I haven't been able to pour through every comment. There are several hundred, written comments, sentences, paragraphs, etc. Heroic events. Obviously, I griped about that the last stream. For those who are here on Sunday's stream, I went off on a little mini rev rant about that. And I think that was one of Eco's biggest issues this month, was just having the heroics all over the place, 10 up at a time, which I'm honestly fine with as long as I'm getting a good number of SMSs, which I were. Most of those heroics just stayed up, right? Like there weren't 30 heroics run, but those heroics were long lasting, stayed up right in front of your face, trying to get you to spend. So you did have way more SMSs than heroics, but you just saw the heroics all the time, every day. It was very annoying. And that's one of my negatives for Eco this month, even though I feel like he did mostly positive. But stability also getting some negative. 10% people gave stability an F, lower than I anticipated. 21% gave it a D compared to 25% giving it an A, and then another 5% giving it, 25% giving it a B and 5% giving it an A. Flip those around. So 30% kind of in the passing, and then right at 30% in the pure fail, leaving everybody else in the C grade, which is technically better than last month. But I really want to point out, and I did this in my meeting with Hamster yesterday, stability really seemed to take a dip after that mid-arc patch, and that was no bueno. So anyway, these are all the things that we've gotten so far, but I do want to really reiterate, this is not closed. I really need more people to participate in this. That way y'all can get your thoughts heard, get your feelings heard, get your plans, what you would like to see the game move in the direction of heard. That's all because we have things like this, and a big thank you to those who do contribute, because truly none of this happens without you. If it's just Rev, like if I'm just me, I'm not worth listening to, but thankfully y'all support. So big thank you. Ryan says, you're going to have a Christmas donation drive next month. I enjoy contributing to gifts for your kids. Too bad I can't write it off. Tax code pal. I will, Ryan. So I'm actually going to make a post about that. I was going to wait till like the 1st of December. So 2 things we're going to do. We're going to again do the Pokemon cards to any kids. So any families that want Pokemon cards, I'm going to send them out. All we ever ask is that you pay the shipping cost. And we send, I try to stuff boxes with several hundred cards. Enough for the kids to play, make their own little starter decks and everything. And we're going to do that. And then also my wife finally finished putting all the items in our Christmas wish list. If, and again, never required, if anybody wants to contribute to that, we have that as well. Thank you for asking, Ryan. So both of those things will get posted and announced. I'm one of those weirdos. I like to save Christmas until after Thanksgiving. I know it's just, I'm not like everybody else in the media who want to celebrate Thanksgiving in like July so they can get to Christmas in September. I do Thanksgiving first. I've already had to tell my wife, no, we're not putting up the Christmas tree. We're not putting up the Christmas tree before Thanksgiving. No. Thanksgiving, then Christmas. We have an order of operations. You thought it was just math? No, it's your life. So that is that. Next up on the list of topics, though, that we were planning to do is the scheduling. If y'all don't know the schedule, let me go ahead and tell y'all where the schedule's at. In fact, this is on the Discord, so I'll go ahead and put it on the screen. I know not everybody uses the official Discord, so here's Hamster. We've got Return of the Mega Cube right now. Hey, you should already see it. We have Officer Flash Pass running. I actually think this Flash Pass is really good. Granted, it's PvP officers, but a lot of the PvP officers that are hard to get. We have Cal starting on the 28th, which is tomorrow, Thanksgiving for us Americans. Incursions, 29th through December 1st. The incursions, pairings, and such are listed in a web post. And finally, Faction Hunt to wrap things up December 1st through December 3rd. So, there you go on the dates of events. Right? Yeah. If you don't have them, now you do. Now you do. All right, let me go ahead and pop that off. Boom. Now we got the dates covered. And, yeah, so that's going to wrap up on that upcoming Tuesday. How many Tuesdays are in December? That's a good question. There are 5 Tuesdays in December. Oh man, what could that mean? We'll just have to wait and see what that means. Samo, somebody, you know what that means? Maybe. Too bad you can't be a 501 nonprofit. I mean, I'm sure we could create one, but I feel like we'd be committing tax fraud if I go make a 501c3 just for Christmas presents. I don't know. I'm really scared of the federal government and Uncle Sam, so I prefer to not. But good point brought up. Thank you. Thank you. All right, and the other thing that I was going to discuss is trying to catch everybody up on the plans of the devs. So for those that don't know or were not a part, and I did share this earlier in the month, but it's easy for these things to get lost in the hoopla of everything that happens in Star Trek Fleet Command. There was a brief Q&A. I'm going to put up on the screen. Here is my Facebook page. Yes, we do have a Facebook page for those of you who still use the old blue app. Yep, it still exists, and I still use it, so I figure everybody else does as well. Here, I'll put it on the screen so y'all can read through some of these, and we'll scroll through. But a few different big topics that were covered. I ended up asking a few of them during the public Q&A as well that I got responded to, which was nice, but I wanted to cover some of that as we go through our clicks. So as we're discussing, how soon do you expect additional ship loops added to the internal archives? And this is something I wanted to really highlight. You can read through this entire segment right here. The short version of it is the IAE as a building is designed to be worked on for essentially the foreseeable future to cover the loops that are in the game. Now, there are already things that we've requested in terms of like what we'd like to see soon, Disco, Stella, things like that. But for those who want to see game design give a direct answer, there you go. The IA is not meant as a 1 month, these are all you get, this is how it is. It's meant as a, okay, this is going to be continually worked on. They don't give a timetable to like, hey, every month we're going to add this, this, and this. But they are saying they are committing, and this way we can hold their feet to the fire. They're committing to continually bringing more things to the IA building and things like that, which I think is very important. And we'll see. And again, your opinion matters there. I'm going to really hit on things like the IA building because, again, the survey that we, by the way, Flashman, thank you for doing the survey. But when 90+% of people give it an A or a B grade, which has never happened before, you better make sure. You better make sure you keep working on that. Like, you can't just let that go if you're Scopely. If you do, talk about the just worst decision you can possibly make for your player base. To have the Star Trek Fleet Command community. I'm not trying to insult y'all when I say this, but it's really hard to please you guys and gals. I'm not trying to be mean, just being honest. Like, y'all can be hard to please. No, that's a symptom of y'all suffering for 5 and 6 years, but still, right? They need to stick with things that are working. Stick with things that are working. So, Felix says numbers on the choice reward. What are you asking for, Felix? Are you asking, do people like it? Are you asking what the survey results on the choice rewards are? Very positive. Very positive. Overall, the event calendar has gotten very positive reviews. To give you the grades, 29% A, 33% B between the event calendar and the choice system. So now I did have feedback saying they wanted me to separate those two things, but here's why, just to explain some of the method of how these surveys work. One of the reasons that you'll see me put all these things together, put this survey back on the screen, is you'll notice like, hey, the officers are all one question instead of breaking it apart. I'm just clicking things to get to the next section. Why are officers always the same, kind of like peace? Why is communication? Because and y'all might not realize this, so if you do, don't worry, this isn't for you, but for those that don't, every piece of this is essentially a different person at Scopely that you're grading. Now they work in pods, so it might not be one person. So when it comes to like officer design, it does not necessarily mean it's one person. In fact, there's a tandem here. The sourcing part of officers and the officers themselves are made by two different people. Sourcing is going to be determined by the arc runner, and then the design is by the pod that was in charge of the officer design. But to an extent, you're judging a group each grade. So instead of having them all intermingled, part of the reason for the separation. So the features, that is going to be your game design team and the individual pods that work on certain features. I'm going to go ahead and just click this, and then we'll get to the next section. Just clicking things. I'm not even submitting this. Event calendar. Why did I keep it all together? Because this is for this month, and I'm able to say his name because they came out and said this is my month. This is Eco. This is you grading Eco on his month running live ops. How did Eco do? And if you wanted to go in further detail, say, hey, I like something, dislike something, you can add the comment. But if you think that this month as a whole, for the live ops person running thing, they did a good job, the choice system, the heroic events, everything, you grade them. You say they got a C, they got an A, they got an F, and then you explain why. So part of the reason why there isn't more separation is not just for the simplicity's sake, but also for the sake of we know who exactly we're grading here, right? Instead of just splitting up every individual thing, we're trying to tie it and get, because when I have the opportunity to sit down with, say, let's just say it was Eco or another arc runner or a game designer, I can say, hey, specifically your portion of the month, this is what the community that follows me said, instead of just being, in picking and, just all over the place. Does that make sense? Now, I'm not saying that the format that we have is perfect. In fact, myself and Archduke are discussing ways that we can improve it for year 3 of the surveys to make it more accurate, to maybe make it more representative of everybody and try to make it more detailed without making it into this 30-page thing that you have to fill out, which, let's be honest, the more in-depth something is like a survey, the less likely people are to do it, right? So trying to find that happy balance is one of our goals. But that is just to explain why some of the things are set up that way, so that we can say, hey, you who ran this pod that designed these officers, or you who created the IA, here's what the players are saying about you. And if you could continue these type of things, these people like this obviously want to do that. They don't like this, stop doing that. Makes sense? Logic. Logic. All right, let's see what other comments we got. I don't want to miss anything. Those who are just joining in, we've been going over several different topics today. A couple of different things. One being, what most recently, we're going over the brief Q&A we had at the middle of the month that some people might have missed. We've also gone over the calendar and the survey and the survey results so far. So Caleb says, I think this month was fun. The story, the events, the choice rewards all made it an enjoyable month. Well, I'm happy to hear that, Caleb. But whether you enjoy it or not, I'm happy that you're one here. And two, make sure you fill out the survey and get your alliance mates to do it. It helps out the game tremendously. Been playing since launch, camped in the low 30s, feel overwhelmed, don't know what to do. Play slow. Simple answer I can give you, E. Play slow. If you feel overwhelmed, that's okay. Take it one piece at a time. You just hit the 40s. Focus on getting the NSCA protector. I actually told another player this who just went to the 40s. The game throws like 18 loops at you as soon as you go in the 40s. Here's a good advice. My advice, if you're wanting to play slow and not be overwhelmed, ignore mirror until you unlock the NSCA. So that just like, yeah, I'm not saying the mirror isn't important. The mirror research is very, very valuable. However, if you're feeling overwhelmed, take a step back and piecemeal it. Don't do mirror until you get your NSCA protector, which you'll do from an event, Galactic Invasions. That slows it down for you. Zindi. Silence. Focus on those two as your main two objectives for like, where do I want to reach in the 40s? Now that I'm here, what are goals that I want to hit? I want to be able to beat those hostiles. Break it down into small sections. Don't try to do everything, and you will manage it. That is my best recommendation for you. How do you get the X31 data pads? There are faction missions for that, Oilers. It's in my Discord. I don't have the systems memorized, but each faction has systems where you pick up those pads. It's in my Discord pinned. If you ask somebody for help, they'll get it to you. I just don't have these systems memorized for you pick up those missions. But E, yeah, if you're feeling overwhelmed, take a step back. Don't feel pressured to get everything done and start piecemealing what you're going after. So, yeah. How do you get the NSCA upgrade materials? Been buying packs to get it to my current tier of 8. Well, you get it from doing your mirror loop in your mirror refinery. Or you can buy them, which is what you're doing. But either way works. I'm going to do a big pull here because I'm feeling adventurous. Big pull? What we get? Big pull. I got 2 Sompek. Nice. Nice. Didn't get the rare battleship parts I needed desperately, but hey, that's just how it goes for me all the time. No rare battleship parts. I did get rare explorer parts. Okay, whatever, cool. And then some more currencies down there. And of course, these. I'm very happy about getting more artifacts. Very happy about getting more artifacts. As far as the next question on our survey that on the Q&A, ship scrapping. Now, this is a big one I want people to pay attention to because they were adamant about no G5 scrapping, etc. They seem to be relenting, and in 2025, expect to see updates to the scrapping mechanic, allowing more ships to be upgraded and scrapped. Now, to be very clear, I'll be tracking this closely to find what I believe are valuable rewards. I don't believe G4 scrapping is quote-unquote good, and that's after myself and Ripper, who's no longer making content for the game, but way back in the day, me and Ripper both went at them, said, hey, the scrapping of G4 is deplorable. And then they improved it by a factor of 4. So if you're looking at G4 scrapping now and going, man, the returns are terrible, it's been improved by a factor of 4 already. So do some math on that. I guess be semi-grateful. I don't know. But I will be tracking that. But the good news is, of this, we always try to take the good news out of it. Scrapping. We're going to see that happen. ETA on when? Don't know. But we will be seeing that. Memory serves, I believe you said once you're ready to move up from level 49, go ahead and push straight to 51, or is there a pause between the two? Oh, Thomas, most people actually sit at 50. The reason that you get stuck at 49, and it's not going to be as big of a reason now as it was a year, 2 years, etc. ago, is that there is just a heavy material and resource wall between 49 and 50. But you can get to 50 and then enjoy the bounties of 50, where you can do a little bit of G5 farming. Like you can get some G5 materials between the daily leaderboards and things like your 30-day chests and stuff. I personally recommend picking up a 50 Epic. The Enterprise A and the Tribune both are very good and very strong. And with today's sourcing of Latinum and faction credits, it's certainly more affordable to do that now, especially if you're a player that's playing a little bit slower. One thing you need to remember is if you get to 50, and this was always just a warning label I put on it. I never said don't go to 50. I just said, hey, when you get to 50, know that going to 51 is basically free. The only problem with that is as soon as you go 51, everything changes. Different leaderboards, different economy because you're now in G5. So just like E's talking about going into G4 and feeling overwhelmed, you can have a similar experience going into G5. Now, some people who prepare for these things and know what's coming, well, that doesn't happen. But for the majority of players, just good to have that warning label there to be careful. I loved my time at 50, even though I wasn't there super long. I enjoyed it, got good rewards out of it, and encourage everybody to have a similar experience. So that's the only real thing. Not that got G5 rare parts, nice. Not the don't do it, just simply a know what's ahead of you type of thing and be prepared, right? Just be prepared. John, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Says I finished the Vidar IA, but it relock your lad. I don't know what you're saying, BBQ. You're not asking a question. You're making a statement that doesn't make sense. All right, let's see. Let's see. I've been at 50 for a while, crushing a lot of SLBs. I know that will go away at 50. Most likely, Sherlock. Again, that's very server dependent. You know, whatever your economy is like on your server and what the player base is like on your server, maybe you can maintain an ability to place. But like for me on server 20, I don't place in officer leaderboards, except maybe I'll get in the top 50, right? Sometimes the top 25, but I no longer have the ability to get like a top 5 or even top 10 finish to get a significant amount of shards. The most recent example of that was the XSLB, where I did upgrade. And to give you, I know it's an XSLB, and we all hate XSLBs. I'm simply using it as an example to tell you what it's like for me at 53. XSLB, I took my Vorcha to tier 6, and I took an Enterprise A from tier 0 to tier 9, and I placed like 57. So, yeah. Prepare for that. Know what your leaderboards are like where you're at, but go from there. Find what you like. Play how you want to play. Find what's fun. So next up now, the Alliance tournaments, that already, we know it's not dead. That literally just happened. But next question, can the 2,000 hostile limit be removed? And this is one that I've really pushed to them and I'm trying to push further. I would love your help because going by game design's responses in this Q&A, now I don't provide all of their responses. I did not provide all their responses, but this was one of my questions. And they haven't heard enough of that apparently. So if you think the 2,000 day hostile limit is terrible, you need to be telling people it's terrible. If you're a VIP, you better be telling your CMs it's awful. If you're a regular player, you better be telling people in the official discords and the content creator programs, etc. It's terrible. If you think hostile limit be bad, you need to make it known because this was one of those things that wasn't really on their radar. And I talked to them a little bit further after this Q&A. So if you think it's terrible, I think it's terrible because the 2,000 limit has gotten easier and easier to hit, right? Much easier to hit. Much easier to hit. So between augment auto grinding, Texas auto grinding, all the grind leaderboards and grind events we've had, which by the way, I love. I think grind events and grind leaderboards are good for the game. But the limit's bad. So make sure you're telling people. Transporter pattern update, that was another one of my questions I was kind of hinting at because I knew one was coming. But I threw it out there and boop, done. And then implementing an in-game trading system got brought up for the 4 millionth time. That wasn't my question, but somebody else did. And they gave the honest answer, which is what I've always told y'all, was it never went past the basic, we're thinking about it, we're considering it phases. But maybe. Again, this is where talking about these things is important because if they don't see people demanding it, asking about it, and continually bugging about it, never leaves the drawing board. So there are some of the basic Q&A things that were handled this last time around. So there we have it. There are our topics for the day. Now we can just kind of dive into the deeper minutia of everything and, of course, answer your comments and questions while I try to spam refineries. I don't think I can do many of these refineries into tonight's stream. I cannot. 8 hours. Oh, my Lanta. I got home real late last night. For those that don't know, last night was date night with the wife. So I didn't get home until later. Thank y'all, by the way. It's people like you who support the channel that allow me to do things like that. Very rare. But just to share a nice picture with you guys and gals. Here is me and wife. And before anybody makes a comment, no, she loves this. She wanted to go. This isn't one of those like the husband drags the wife to a date that she didn't want to be a part of. But this is us at the hockey game last night. So thank y'all for making that possible. The people who watch the videos, like the videos, donate to the channel, etc. Y'all allow me to take my wife out on dates, and I big appreciate. for that. So we went to the hockey game last night. We lost in a shootout, but hey, we still got a point because, well, it's not like football. You get to overtime, you still get something in the standings. So thank y'all, those who helped make that happen. Can you talk to the devs about adding G5 ships to the away team store? It's been brought up 100 million times, Frederick, and we will continue to. We will continue to bring it up. There are no plans at the moment for that I'm aware of, but yeah, we will continue to bring it up. It's certainly important to me. Super cute Fiddle. Well, thank you, B. That's very kind of you. Very kind of you. Be interested to know what else they plan to do with the Galaxy Quest content, if anything. I mean, there's no plans to run another Galaxy Quest arc, if that's what you're asking. Not that I've been made aware of. There's no Galaxy Quest arc that I know of in the coming near future. Are you wanting more Galaxy Quest content, or are you specifically asking more of like the NSEA? I guess more what specifically is that question referring to? Maybe I can provide some clarity. Your hockey team hasn't won the cup since 1967. Well, this is minor league hockey, which I know this isn't Star Trek related, but I believe minor league hockey is more fun to attend than professional hockey. But yeah, it was fun. Is there anywhere to acquire Galaxy Quest officers other than DeMarco during invasions? No. Good news is you don't need them. Don't really serve a purpose. I mean, Dane's good for impulse. I do use Dane in PvP, so there's that. Now, some of the new refineries that are coming out, you'll see things slip in, where you'll see officer sourcing for things kind of pop up, but those are kind of still on the list. Is it difficult to do arenas without NSCA? I mean, yes, more and more people are catching on the NSCA is a good ship for arenas, but I mean, over the past 3 weeks, let me do the math on this real quick. Over the past 3 weeks, I am 33-14. And that's fighting a lot of NSCAs. So, I mean, it's definitely still winnable, but what ops levels does the tribute get added to the G4 Epic Armada chest? You can pull that at 48 and 60% of the rep. Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking away teams. Armada chest, 48 or 49. IA recruits have Dane LLR. You know what? Good point, Domo. I didn't think about that. If you go into your officer store. Now, I don't think about it because I don't throw anything to this right now, but there is an independent archive recruit, and Dane is indeed in there as well as Nesmith. So thank you. I didn't even think about that, Domo. You do have them in this. Now, I personally am not dumping anything into this because I'm actually trying to upgrade my pillars, right? But thank you. I actually did not think about this, but there's Laliari, there's Dane, there's Nesmith. So this is why we like having the chat here. So that way, if I do forget something, we can see it on the screen. Big thank you to them for calling it out. So it is sourced through the IA. The only drawback to that is you're taking away the same currency you need to upgrade your pillars. If you're working on your Voyager, your Monavine, etc., that would take away from your ability to do that next pillar, but maybe that is okay and has value to you that time around. So we'll just make that decision for yourself. You see, I'm waiting on the Voyager. I've got to get it max, so I'm not worrying about that. And I'm currently working on the Monavine pulls, which I like for the more Apex PvP barrier, which will help me in arenas, as well as getting the Monavine finished. So there's the cargo increase and the net chips. We'll go ahead and take it up another tier as well. I've actually had a couple of these sitting here. So now I'm working on these, and I will have these worked on. And then I'm saving my Talios. Even though the Talios is very good, I'm saving the Talios because I can't max it till level 58 anyway. So now, Kevin, you're right. There is no Gwen DeMarco, but Gwen DeMarco is sourced through the Galactic Invasion mechanic. Let's check what today's event is for the Battle Pass. It is away teams. All right, well, that's simple enough. What's our modest challenge today? FKR hostiles and the El Orion hostiles. I will do for epics. All right, let's hop back over there, and then we'll get y'all's chat. Just unlocked Janeway for my last FC. Can you recommend which FCs to have in the seats if you have every FC? All right, well, if you have all FC slots, you got all 5. Kurt, Sloan, Janeway, Lorca. And then for the last spot, if you're doing an upgrade, Spock. If you're not doing an upgrade, the last spot will be 7 for me. So Kurt, Sloan, Janeway, Lorca, 7. Or if you're doing like an upgrade, you're leveling up, swap that last one for Spock. And then you'd have Lorca here at the first spot, because remember the first spot's the only one that has this ability that you can activate. So technically I should reword it Lorca, Kirk, Sloan, Janeway 7. So when can you max the Monomy and the Voyager? As early as level 51, Vic. The thing is, it takes epic materials. So you can do it as early as 51, but the answer is as soon as you get enough epic materials to do the upgrades. But to give you an example, I'll pull up my Voyager right now and you can see how I'm slow pacing this and trying to work on it. But my Voyager is ready to go to 12, but I need epic 5-star gas. And as you can imagine, painfully slow to get it if you're in the lowers. I'm okay with that, but you can get it as soon as 51. Like that's when it becomes available for you to start maxing out, is 51. So not saying it's easy, just saying it's there. And that is the path that I'm currently taking. All right, let me throw this out there so I can get that mission running real quick. I don't want to get, I'm going to get distracted because I love y'all, but I'm trying to get some things done. All right, always a rub. Thank you for the information. Well, you're welcome. Again, remember that arm twisting in this game is intentional with the hope that you're like, hey, I don't want to do this. I'm just going to spin. So if you are a free to play or a light spender, you have to be very picky with how you do things. And I am going to get them maxed out here at like level 53, but I'm willing to be here for a while. I'm enjoying my time at 53 and I don't feel pressured to level up because FOMO doesn't work on Rev anymore. So because you're never going to remember to swap Spock in Lorca, Kirk, Sloan, Spock for me. Fair. My only rebuttal to that is as time keeps progressing and more things get added, like Mirror Universe, I'm using that as a recent example, Spock's value drops. Now he is good because he has some good abilities, specifically for upgrading everything. But do you really need this on at all times? That 86% or 100% does not do what it used to do with continually more and more of these researchers getting added. So Spock was super, super good when it came out. Now he's just good. He's good. He's not bad. I'm not saying he's trash. I'm just saying that if 7 is going to give you more value every day, then just keep 7. If you're somebody who's forgetful, have the better one up at all times. That's what I'm saying. If you're somebody who's forgetful, have the one who's better overall up at all times. That would be my recommendation. So, do you think we get a second arena opening every week to increase participation? Probably not. Probably not. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'm just answering the question. I think more likely is getting them to move it around a different day, a different time slot, etc. But we'll have to wait and see. I would think that's more likely than having it open a second day. There are, again, it goes back to like, you know, the keeping people happy as much as you can. There are just far too many people who hate PvP in any form, no matter what it is. Even the condensed PvP that Arenas is, which affects nobody who isn't doing it. There's still plenty of people who don't want that run. It's just a very loud group. So I doubt it, maybe, but I doubt it. Make it 24 hours. Again, nuts. I've already explained that to you several times, but for anybody else, there is a very loud group of people who do not want it 24 hours. So there is no answer for arenas that makes everybody happy, right? Is what I'm saying. There is no answer for arenas that makes everybody happy. I want them to move things around and try different things just so they can hit as many people as possible. But there is no answer that helps everybody. I do think that the time to move it around is now. And just to be upfront with y'all, I've talked to y'all what the participation rates have been, right? I've been very open with the participation rates have been. This past week's participation rates for Arena was the lowest it's ever had. Now, there's to be anticipated to an extent because we've had it 7 weeks in a row, right? So I think that's kind of understandable. However, I do think that the remedy for a lot of this is there's some people who haven't gotten to play. So let me pull up the numbers real quick because I love sharing numbers with y'all so y'all can be informed. As of this past Monday, we've had Arena 7 times, so 7 weeks in a row. 39,564 total people have done arenas, which is a very good portion of the people who are level 40 plus. But the participation rate in terms of percentage this week around was the lowest it's ever been. Still did better than Arena's daily percentage, which just, better than the tournament's daily percentage, which just speaks to the tournaments needing an uptick. But there were 3,000 less people that did arenas this time around versus last time. So I think for a couple of reasons. One, to get more people to experience it. And two, to break up the monotony, because anytime a new feature comes out, there's that excitement that everybody has to try it. And then after everybody's tried it, you kind of like, well, I'll still do it, but maybe I won't do it every week. You need to move it around, because we've seen one thing. We've been tracking how many new people are doing it every week, and that number hasn't really increased. So for example, between week 6 and week 7, so this past Monday, only 1,000 more people tried it. Actually, only 900 more people scored in arenas that hadn't already scored. Whereas if you look between weeks 2 and week 3, 4,000 new people had. So clearly you're tapping into like the people who can do it on Monday in that 8-hour window. You've kind of hit the cap, right? You may still find some more, but overall, you've probably hit everybody that you can hit in that 8-hour window on that day. To me, logically, let's move it somewhere else, see if we can hit more people, see if we can find a better time slot, or even if we find a worse time slot, still allow more people to experience it, try things out, right? So when I look at numbers, that's what I'm looking at. I mean, how can we make it better? How can we get more people to experience something so they can make a decision for themselves? Because there's so many people who just simply haven't done arenas because it's not available to them, who want to try it and just can't. You know, they have work, they have families, they have, they're working the night shift. I mean, whatever the reasoning is, more people want to be able to participate and can. So when I see those numbers, one of the reasons I track those numbers, so I can tell Scopa that, look, you see what I'm seeing. I'm assuming you see this, but let me reinforce the point. Yada, yada, yada. So Jason says you need 8,400 arena credits for daily max pulls. It's 9 wins, which could be up to 2 hours of playing. Asking people to get 5 wins is probably more realistic. Well, that's, again, now I don't disagree with your math there, Jason, but I do want to remind you, Scopely does not set up events based on full pulling. They set up events based on you single pulling things every day, which I know is annoying as a player. The double pulling every day, if you were to full pull, which is a triple pull here, triple pulling, full pulling, you're exceeding expectations. The expectation is for you to realistically be able to do 1 pull a day. Now, obviously as players, we want to get max pulls, logically, right? But I'm only saying that to let you know you're not going to win an argument with Scopely if your argument is, I have to do 2 hours to get full pulls for 7 days. I do that 2 hours because I'm a masochist for this game. But I'm just going to tell you from Scopely's perspective, you're not going to win that argument. Their math is based on single pull 7 days. If you do anything more than that, you're overachieving, which they're happy. I mean, it's more of your eyeball time in their game, but they're not purposely designing it to make it easy to get full pulls for a week. Again, I still think it should move around. Absolutely. I think there are plenty of changes that need to be worked on, including the fact that lag, especially the past 2 weeks, seems to be the worst has been for arenas. All those things need to be worked on. But as far as game design goes, the intent is never for full pulling to be easy. Single pull is the goal. Full pull is the overachievers, the deuces, donuts, etc. So Joanne says, I think the biggest improvement they can make to arenas is an open grouping to let small alliances or quiet alliances participate. Don't know if you know this, Joanne, but that's actually already happening. Like, it hasn't happened yet, but that's actually in development and will be launched. So if you did not know that, that hopefully is good news to you. That has actually already been heard, and it is going to be launched. So what motivates new players into Star Trek Fleet Command? Are you saying what gets them to join or what gets them to play? I mean, the love of Star Trek and community. Same reason that almost anybody would choose any MMO puzzle. So, the pulls seem reasonable in accordance with other features. You can realistically do middle pulls without overgrinding it. Yeah, I mean, I don't expect people to do what I do, which is I am going to devote 2, 3, or even 4 hours to arenas because I enjoy the feature. The average player, I don't expect to do more than 30 to 60 minutes, which means they're doing 3 to 6 matches on average, which is single pull worthy. That's the most that I expect the average player to do arenas. So, yeah, we'll see. I wish the devs would upgrade the arena so that your miners don't automatically get recalled. I'm sorry, Frederick, I don't agree with you. I don't. And this weird obsession that, and I call it weird, I'm not trying to be insulting, that a lot of people have about an event that no longer pays out good resources doesn't make sense to me. And I've said this before. Why does it matter that you can't mine? Mining on Monday has no value. The event pays out so little, including the ALB, unless you're just doing it for bragging rights. Like you want to be able to say, hey, my alliance is better than this alliance at mining. The rewards in the arena far outweigh and outclass those on Mining Monday. And it's not even close if we're talking about what progresses your game. Preload for daily reset. Again, why does that matter? Like the awards, you're making a decision. And I am of the opinion a game should not, I mean, you shouldn't have both. You have to make decisions. This game should be about making decisions. And you decide what is more valuable to you, preloading or arena rewards. You should not be able to get all of it. No game lets you get all of it, right? If you boot up World of Warcraft right now, you have to go grind this dungeon, but that doesn't give you the rewards for that dungeon. You have to make decisions on what's good for your account. I don't understand this gripe that I've seen from a lot of people, and again, not calling you out, I see it all the time, that people should be able to get everything, and that's not realistic in gaming. Like, you shouldn't be able to get everything. You should have to make choices of, okay, I have to sacrifice this to go after this. You have to devote your time to something and say, this is what's valuable to me. I don't get the argument to just like, oh, well, we need to be able to mine, preload, and arenas. I don't think that's good gameplay. Mining Monday is super easy to complete. It's easy to just put a miner out in deep system overnight. Who cares if a miner dies? Well, what he's saying, Nick, is that they want to be able to preload and, you know, take advantage of that tactic. And I just think that you should have to make choices. And if you in that choice say, okay, arenas isn't valuable for me, that's completely legit. But I don't think there should be this, I can have everything all at once. I don't like that. I don't think that's a good game. I think that's bad game mechanic if you allow people to just be able to get everything all at once. You know, there should have to be choices and consequences that separate those who work harder and get more rewards versus those who don't. So, haven't been able to play arena due to my real life schedule on Mondays. However, I've decided to just let the whole loop go and wait till the next thing comes and makes arena progression obsolete. Completely fair, BP. Completely fair. My hope is that they will listen to the feedback and move it to different days, different time slots to let other people experience it. So you will get to, you know, have that shot. I mean, for me, I've already gotten immediate value from it, right? I'm getting extra Syndicate XP every day. I've already got my G5 ship cost is now significantly lower because I have the G5 Innovative Engineering. All these things are benefiting me, and hopefully everybody gets a chance to do those as well. So, you unlock Masrad today. Does she replace Hugh or work with you below decks? I mean, I wouldn't say replace. It depends on what your goal is, right? Like, what are you trying to attack? Now, they work differently to a degree. Here, we'll pull her up so everybody else can see her. If you look at her below deck ability, when hit by an Armada or hostile, increases critical hit chance. She is more so meant to be the Hugh version for Armadas than a Hugh replacement. You know, I wouldn't run them in conjunction. Right? I wouldn't run them together because a Hugh is probably going to give you criticals anyway. I would have this on my main Armada boat and a secondary hostile grinding ship. That's what I would do. Right? Secondary hostile ship or your main Armada ship or both. Move it around for that. So. All right. You like Mondays to no change? And keep in mind that when I'm saying change arenas, I'm not saying permanently move it off Monday. I'm saying the best thing they can do is if they are going to stick to this 8-hour window that they're pretty big on, then you need to rotate days to give more and more people opportunity. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it should leave Mondays. I'm saying that you've kind of, going by the numbers that we track, you've kind of capped the amount of people that you're going to get on Monday, right? It's right around 40,000 people that seem to be available and want to participate on Monday. Well, if you're doing numbers, there's more than 40,000 people between level 40 and 70, right? There's about 100, and I have to look up the number, 100, let's just say 120,000. There's only about a third, maybe a little bit different. So that means that there's a huge number of people who could play this, but can't for whatever reason on Monday at this time. Move it around. Try to give more people the opportunity to do something. There's no reason that a mechanic should, by nature, be limited to 30% of your players. Now, it's okay if you have a mechanic that only 30% of your players play. For example, tournaments, which is lower than 30%, that's available to everybody. And people don't do it at a high rate. But at least it's available to everybody. My argument is Monday, by just design, is making it not available to everybody. So that's why I'm wanting it to move around, try on different days. Because I think everybody should have an opportunity. I don't think everybody's going to enjoy it. I don't think everybody's going to participate. But I do think everybody should have the opportunity to try it for themselves. That's all I'm arguing for. So. My biggest problem with arenas, I need to stop my whole other game and then hope I can get the right people to want to do it at the same time. Legitimate question to you, Jean-Paul. Why is that a problem? Why is that a problem? I don't understand how that's a negative. Yes, you have to organize with your group to run arenas. You have to do the same thing for formation armadas, waves. You either like those type of mechanics or you don't, but why is that a problem? All tasks done on STFC on the War Thunder. Nice. I'll be playing War Thunder a little bit later today. Solitaire. That's a game I haven't played in some time, but it used to be my main PC game to jump onto as a kid. Formatas are quick and easy. Formatas take the exact same amount of time as an arena match, John Paul. There's no difference in time. There's not. One arena match is the same time as running a formation armada. Yeah, it's like Viper said, you're not speeding up a formation armada. It's not like when you go out and run a regular FKR and you just go, well, I don't want to do this, and you speed through it. It's the same amount of time. I think that's a perception thing that y'all built. Well, John Paul's built. It's not any time different than running a formation armada. It's just, is it valuable to you and your group and wanting to do it? I would argue formation armadas and waves are harder because you need more people to organize for the same amount of time. Arenas, you only need to find 2 people in your level range that want to do it with you and have 10 minutes to spare. Because very rarely in my matches do matches last 10 minutes anyway. Now again, you can still ignore it, and I'm a firm advocate for this. Only do the things in Star Trek Fleet Command you enjoy. Just like, was it Ryan who said it? Somebody said that they have already determined for themselves they're just going to wait for the newest mechanic to come out that outdates this. Completely fair, completely fine. Only do what you enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, then just ignore it. So it just takes a while to set up. Here's how I do my setup. Go to assign officers and I use my presets. I will say this, for the longest time I've talked trash about presets because they annoy me, but I took the time one day to sit down and load out my presets. So I've got my PvPs loaded out, I've got my hostiles load out and my armadas load out, so I just quick swap them. Now I had to go because I really dislike the below deck portion. I said for the longest time I wanted this so bad, so I only blame myself. I'm not griping at Scopely. I wanted this so bad and now I hate it. So I had to go clear out my below decks and manually set up all my stuff, but through presets. And now I just preset, I'm good to go. Wish there was another way to get ISS Jelly. There are 3 ways to get it, Sam. Where are you having the difficulty? Maybe we can help you out, or maybe you're not aware of all the ways to do them. And thank you, Mihai. Glad you're proud of me. And, you know, it's my own fault, but it is what it is. Is what it is. All right, got that grind in. We need to go do away teams. That's what we need to do. Away teams. See if I got any sitting here ready to go. Sweet. Viper says, personally, I prefer Alliance tournaments to arenas, more value to me. With the tokens, I could start a couple of rares in the armadas and get the loot chest / refines. Logical, Viper. And I think the biggest issue with tournaments is not that the idea is bad. They're just not putting in enough effort to make it worth everybody's while. Like, and I said this last week. I was shocked by the low participation rate of tournaments. Just to give you numbers, because again, I'm sharing numbers about arenas. I got to do the same thing for tournaments. In the APAC region, only 20% of players every day did tournaments. That's it. That's all. Like, very low. US, 23%. So you have about 200,000 people who could do it, and most people are like, nope. And I think that's because the tasks are still jacked up, not fun. They still don't pay out much, and the rewards are still very, very pay-centric. But tournaments should be a big win, and hopefully it becomes that. But right now, it's just a bummer. I did tournaments with this group with Epic. I did end up scoring 50,000 points, but one night took me over an hour to grind out my points for very little rewards to me compared to me actually enjoying. Because Here's the difference. I'll gladly do arenas for an hour because I'm having fun. I'm meeting new people. I'm directly talking to them. I'm interacting with them. When I did the 1 hour grinding on tournaments, I was doing like the game Protomatter, which I can do free to play. It took me an hour to do that twice. I don't enjoy that. Like, it's literally mindless grinding. They've got to make tournaments more enjoyable. I do agree there's a lot of good things. And I just put out a video yesterday about the free primes that you can get in tournaments. There's great things to be had. Tournaments just isn't fun to me. And they've got to make it fun. I am shocked that 23% of the game are doing tournaments. And that just speaks to them needing to get this thing into a good, fun engagement. That's the issue. That's the issue. They've got to make it more enjoyable for the average player. How do you get Protomatter free to play? Oh, Mr. Greg, I'm happy to edumify you. You can get Protomatter free to play in a variety of different ways based on your level. Let me go through a couple of them. You can go to the Mirror Refinery, because obviously you got to be 40 plus for your. Oh, I'm behind on a refine. I missed one. I'm going to go ahead and do that. But you come into the Mirror Refinery, hit your Liquid Trillium D store, and this one can pay out Protomatter right here. So that's way number one. Not the only way, though. So you also, if you have bought the Ferengi Whip, this is a very, very low chance. I'm going to mention it anyway because we're in here. If you have the Ferengi Whip, there is a chance, very, very, very low chance that your Ferengi Whip can pay you out Protomatter. But again, I'm just mentioning it because it exists. I'm not counting it on my finger. Because we're in the refinery, though, I have to mention it. If you come over to your X-Borg store, come into X-Borg, you can get more here. It is this one. Another way to get Protomatter right there. Bam. That's the more Protomatter you can get. And the most important way that most people tend to forget, doing your Q trials. Every Q trial you complete gives you Protomatter. And remember, this is multiplied by whatever level your building is. Right? So I've got a level 53 building. If I was to do this one, I get about 900 per. Based on my building level. The 900 Protomatter every Taco Bell I run. Now, I have enough bells because remember, every time you level up in like Syndicate, you get bells, events, battle passes, they eventually add up. I've got a lot of bells hanging around. If you have those, there are 3 easy ways every day to get Protomatter. If that's a goal for you, if you're doing those. So next time tournaments rolls around, there are events that are free to playable and I would quantify or qualify as easy to do for free to play. The Protomatter one is an example. The NX01 Uncommon X-Borg Credit one is an example, right? Andrea said they did that one 8 times. Just to give you all the method of how to do the X-Borg Credit one. Remember the one that's 10K, you need to get X-Borg credits? Let me go ahead and give you the method of that. Go to your NX01 for these opportunity chests. Now, spend this one. Like, always do this one. Like, turn those in and get as much as you can. Hoard these. Depending on your level, you need anywhere from 12 to maybe 16 pulls. It depends on what level you are. Right there. Sit on these chips until it comes around. Bam, easy peasy, done in 10 seconds. So there are ways to do some of those free-to-play events. We've covered them before, but if you didn't know, there are 2 of them that anybody can do free-to-play, assuming you're above level 40. That doesn't apply to if you're level 25 or level 30. Well, the tasks are really difficult for y'all. And y'all kind of get limited to a lot of the grind tasks that don't really pay out much. But there are multiple ways to do some of those different things if you're looking for it. Terran Faction has a favor that gives daily Protomatter in the daily chest. Correct, Domo. There is that. I didn't think of mentioning it, but you are correct. We can pull that up real quick. I have done that favor, I think, part 1 of that favor. Yeah, right here. Forbidden Favors, right there on the other side. Unlocks a daily reward of Forbidden Tech Protomatter, Tier-Up Callus Reactors, and Fusion Rods that you get every day in the building section. And that one is right here. And you see my next one costs me, it costs you the, I'm sorry, right here. It costs you the uncommon credits for the first couple of levels. So easy one there. Now, I'm not getting it right now because I'm saving for the next rung of this one, my Syndicate Acquisition, because this is giving me more Syndicate XP every day. I'm currently getting, and I love this, I'm currently getting 11,000 Syndicate XP a day. So nice. So I'm working on that. It maxes out at 28,000. So again, this is why I want arenas available to everybody. Look at these things that I'm able to enjoy because I can do arenas on Monday night. Look at this. I'm getting 11,000 Syndicate a day. I'm getting extra Protomatters and Tier-Up Catalysts a day. I've got my G5 Innovative Engineering already. The value's here. I just want everybody to be able to access this, and that's the problem. Not everybody can. So that's why I'm so loud about the arena issue is there's so much good in here. Even if you don't enjoy arenas, there's so much good in there. I just want more people to be able to do it. So that's it. I want more people to be able to do it. For those who haven't done the survey yet, if you want to provide said opinion, here's the link. Stephen Chris says, I've attempted to avoid arenas because you've been Ops 41 for a while, so low power, G4, and trying to get people to use strategy in my alliance is impossible. See, the first one you bring up, Chris, doesn't bother me at all because I love 41. I love 41s in my arenas. The second one, now that's a big issue. If your alliance thought about it, you could. Here's the truth about arenas matchups. Most people in arenas are not using strategy and aren't very good at PvP. Now, I'm not trying to be mean, it's just the facts. Most people in arenas aren't using strategy. Most people aren't good at PvP. Here's why I would love you, Demon Chris. Here's the match I would make. Me, 53. Second person of 48. I already know who that is. That's Asteroid in my alliance. 48, you at 41. Why? Because between us three, I can't math that in my head real quick because I'm old now. But 41 plus 48 plus 53 equals 142 divided by 3. Our average ops is 47. We're basically going to get paired with 47 to 50 every time. I'm going to be able to be the power player. You're going to be the speed support player. I kill to have 41s. I want 41s to do arenas with me so bad. Please let me take advantage of the ops manipulation and let me be the power 53. Why does that matter? Because I'm a strong 53. Now, if you're a weak 53, you can't use that logic, but I'm a strong 53. I'm the strongest 53 on my server. I'm in the top 25 across the game. I'm going to lower our average ops to 47 thanks to you, and we're going to dominate arenas. Easy with that matchup, 41, 47, 53. I guarantee if we play 10 matches together, we win 9. Guarantee it. I love that. You just got to get people to strategize. You got to get your group to understand how to work the game. Now, that's not going to guarantee it because I could run into that group from 702. Remember, we saw that was 3 level 50s with 600 million NSEAs. We're going to lose that matchup. I'm going to let you know. They use strategy and power. But there are ways to make arenas work for your group. People just have to take the time to learn those methods. So, I'd kill to have an excited level 41 wanting to do arenas with me. I would be so excited about that. It's hard to actually find a 41. Who wants to do arenas and actually wants to engage in strategy. So, you love being the power 53 when I run? Yeah, because when I'm not the power 53, here are my other matches. If I'm not the power guy, I'm usually running like 53, 56, 59. And as soon as we get like a 60 that actually knows what they're doing, because I've beat 60s before, but if you get a 60 with a 2 billion Rotaran who knows what he's doing, very difficult matchup, right? Can we get lowers inside by STFC? I mean, we do. Puggle. Some people like it, some people don't, right? Do you have a crewing or strategy video for arenas? I do, Frederick. I actually do. So I put out one, and look, I'm not going to put out a bunch of arenas content because I don't want to oversaturate arenas. I understand that I enjoy it, but here, I'll put on screen the one that I want you to look for, and I want everybody to watch. Because if nothing else, maybe you already use all these strategies, but it'll give you some basic tips from somebody who on multiple accounts has gone positive in every arenas that he's run in terms of win-loss record. But I have a video right here. Boop. 5 tips and tricks to do better in PvP arenas. I put it out 9 days ago. So going over different strategies that you can employ to make things better. If you don't like arenas, ignore it. Don't worry about it. But yes, I do have one right there. Yeah. Double red. Hey, Revception. It happens. And I say all this, by the way, because if you're the free-to-play out there, I know how tough it is for your game. And this is why I'm trying to get people like Demon Chris at level 41. Even if they're not strong enough to win a PvP match head-on, they can provide value by being the speed guy. But what I really want is to be able to do stuff like get them 11,000 Syndicate XP a day, right? I want to get them this G4 innovative engineering that lowers the cost of all their G4 ships. They don't have to experience the painful grind of the cost of faction credits in G4 and G5, right? I want to get them the tier up catalyst so they're not like Rev sitting here going, well, I can't upgrade my Metreon Cascade because I can't get tier up catalyst. Well, I can now thanks to Forbidden Favors giving me some every single day. I really, really, really want to get as many people these benefits while they're still valuable. Because this, just say it, there's a lot of PvE benefit here for a PvP mechanic. There's a lot of PvE benefit here. So anyway, I don't want to get too stuck on that topic. Video on must-do research for Ops 50. I haven't done one, but I mean, certainly could be in the bag. How quickly early do you recommend starting the level 26 scrap cycle? Level 34. As soon as you can. As soon as you can. Level 34. Because doing it level 34 gives you 5 primes that you can get immediately. The prime officers, which is lost value but still good. Prime crystal or gas, and prime stella efficiency. Those 5. Getting those at level 34, even today, years later, is still very good. So, Demon Chris says the biggest problem I have is getting the other 2 players to give cover while I speed around. Lack of tactics suck. It's true, and you got to educate your players on how to do that, right? You know, absolutely. But anybody that watched my matches this past Monday saw the teams that I struggled with. The teams that I struggled with were not teams that had 2 billion power ships. The teams I struggled with were the teams who knew how to run speed NSEAs. Because here's the thing, I just talked about me taking advantage of Chris's level 41, 47, 53, right? Here's the drawback. If I'm the power player, what does that relegate me to? Being slow, right? Because if I'm going to bring out my Vorcha, I'm not bringing a speed crew. I want to make sure the Vorcha can beat whatever they have on the map. So the Vorcha has to be fully loaded out for PvP. And anybody that's ever flown a Vorcha can tell you one thing about the Vorcha. It is slow as molasses dripping down a tree, all right? So it's not catching any speed ship. So they can run the side armadas and they can run the hostiles around me all day long. Now the Vorcha is limited to staying within a small window between the major armadas. My only hope is to camp those with the Vorcha, and if you launch them, I got to keep you from running them. All right, so there's lots of strategies you can do to combat. Everybody has to know what they're doing and know their role to be effective. Anyway, thinking about camping at Ops 56, is that a bad place to camp? Certainly not. It makes sense. I mean, at 56, you're getting access to new faction ships. You're able to then upgrade your Borg Cube, which is going to finally start getting strongish, you know, so you can start pushing it up. And especially, and one of our 60s, he's level 64, said this. Things like the arenas and tournaments are more reason why they are slowing their gameplay down and not leveling up very fast. So yeah, 56 has a lot of reasons to sit there, catch up on research, you know, get your new ships. And I can definitely see that being valuable for you. Okay, Puggle. The reason that you can't share resources with other team members is because Scopely wants you to buy packs. And it's been that way for 6 years. But don't worry, people have been asking for it for 6 years, and maybe one day they relent. So, this may not be a very popular opinion, but I think instead of arenas every 7 days, we should have arenas every 8 days. My only counter to that, here's what I would say. I don't agree with every 8 days, but I would actually like it to run on a 6-day swing, skipping Tuesdays. I think that would be a cool thing to try. So run it on Monday, run it on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, etc. So the only thing is I wanted to run it backwards instead of forwards. That way it's not an extra day you're skipping, right? I don't want to make the gap bigger. I want to make it smaller. That makes sense? But I want to try several different things out and see if we can get more people to experience it, right? The only thing is I don't want that skip to extend the time between arenas. I want to lessen the time between arenas. So, you know, if we're going to have to skip the Tuesday, that means we're going to have it a day earlier rather than a day later. So we'd actually be working backwards, you know, Monday, Sunday, etc. We're going to get it sooner instead of doing it the forward method. But that's just an idea to try. I'm not saying they're going to do that. I just think that I want more people to be able to experience this mechanic. Yeah. P3 in the scrapper now, server 710. Send a help. Oh, nice, Ken. I will send a help. Done. Help has been sent. Why skip Tuesdays? Tuesdays is main update day. So whenever they do mid-month updates, arc launches, etc., it's always on Tuesday. So you'll notice that's why they don't plan almost anything on Tuesday. Like you don't have territories on Tuesday. So that's why. Tuesdays is like a blank day. We don't put major incursions, arenas, tournaments on Tuesdays. Tuesdays is not a day for big events. So Tuesday is blocked off. So that's why I'm doing Monday, Sunday, etc. Skip the Tuesday, come back to Monday. In that case, communication must be way more frequent. 100% accurate, Erwin. You would have to have very good communication from the Overlords for that to be a viable method. Tuesday is bug day. There's truth to the statement that Nick is making. A little bit negative, but not wrong. Nick's not wrong. Especially this past month, Tuesday was very much bug day. So, yep, absolutely, absolutely. Let's see. Why can't they do any more cool stuff with the Starbase? Simple answer to that, Dakota, is Starbase was DOA when it launched. Like, it was just seen as a terrible mechanic. People aren't happy with it. People don't use it very often. So with it receiving such negative backlash, it just kind of got put to the side and they started working on other things. Now, would I love them to revive Starbases and make them good and valuable? Sure. But Starbases would need a complete overhaul. What happens if your rank drops from silver to bronze? Can you still pull the same tier resources you were at? No. If you drop rank, you lose the ability to pull. So you would need to maintain your rank to maintain the same pulls you're doing every week. So like if you happen to go into arenas on a Monday and you lost 10 matches and you drop from gold, just say you drop from gold 1 to gold 2, you would lose the Mirror Ahura pull. So people don't do assaults very, very rarely. Very, very rarely. 49, you love being in with 40 to 43 players. You get to play the big dog. It is fun, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with being the support player, and I know people who really enjoy being the speed support. I don't. I like being the PvP tank. It's just, finding people who enjoy the different roles, and as leaders, teaching those roles out. And thank you, John, for doing the survey. I greatly appreciate it. In the Alliance Tournament store, ship parts, prime particle. Where in the research can I find the location to use that? So Osu, I just made a video about this yesterday. Check it out. But specifically for the one you just mentioned, X-Borg tree. But if you want to see where all the free primes go, I just put out a video yesterday on that exact topic. Just to answer your question, that specific one is the X-Borg tree. But if you want to get all of them and all that stuff, check out yesterday's video here on the YouTube channel. Yeah, absolutely. Happy to help out. I love that you're thinking about the primes there because they are a fantastic buy-in. And it's good to know where all those are because everybody has noticed there's a cap on the store, right? You can't get a full prime in one go. You've got to stack it with multiple Alliance tournaments. So learning where those are and which ones to go after is smart. As you can see, I'm doing the same thing. Bam. Same thing as you are. And I already got the Syndicate Prime one. I finished that up this time around. And then I'm also working on this one right here, the Omega Particle. So those are some of the ones that I was grabbing. I didn't get enough to fully get the Omega Particle, but that's gonna be one that I go after, and I talk about that in yesterday's video. Now, Viper also mentioned that he's using this to source more of the, where is the director? Right here, the rare, not rare formation, but the rare Zindi right here. Rare Zindi armadas, he's pulling those, which obviously takes forever to get those. So lots of different ways you can go, lots of good value there. You set my mind at ease and confirm 7-star won't be launched next year. 7-star will not be launched in December or January. I'll go ahead and tell you that now. It will not. It will not be. Who sent me a message? It's just Helly saying hi. Everybody say hey to Helly. Everybody say hey to Helly. People are nice. People are just nice. Just come by and say hello. He could have hit me. I mean, he could have. He's right there. I'm gonna go look at him. Come here. Come here. What are you doing? Why are you running? Bring it here. Bring that here. I'm not good. I promise. I just pressed a button. Yeah, it says hi. Oh, I could beat him. No wonder he just said hi. Come here. It's fun to play. This game can be fun sometimes. Oh, man. Who just got, man? I'm going to say hey to them. Snakehead. I don't remember Snakehead. I'm going to still say hi, though. It's always good to be kind. How's your day going? There we go. All right, shenanigans aside, that should have finished my daily. So let me back out and do that real quick. All right, we're good. Rebelize being a tank roll? I do. Insult you? I do insult you, Viper, but I only insult you because you're British. So, I mean, it is my American duty to insult you. I'm sorry. It's in our Constitution. It's the 77th Amendment. Sorry. It's how it is. It's okay, though. I still love you. I just have to insult you. I have to obey the laws of my land, okay? If I buy the Prime that uses 7-star uncommons, will I score points in spin event? 7-star mats are not listed in the scoring mechanic. Generally, no. Not just American. I only know my laws, Erwin. I don't know everybody else's laws. I just know that I, by law, am required to insult the British. So, you're half and half, so you can insult me, but do it in a nice way. Well, I'll save that for Twitch, Demon Chris. Have you gotten much fan mail from arenas? Define fan mail. Now, I will say for those who haven't followed me, what I do in arenas, and I'm an advocate for this in every game, I believe in sportsmanship. So I send like a good game or whatever, any match, whether I win or lose, I contact usually the strongest player that I was fighting, and I tell them good game, I appreciate the match, etc. And I do that every time. Now, how many negative have I gotten? I've only gotten one negative. Literally in 7 weeks, I've gotten one negative message. I actually posted it on my Discord. And just for show's sake, I'll show it, because why not? Let me see if I can find it real quick. But I've only gotten one like love letter that was negative. And it was this guy from server 57. So he sent me this and saying, nice to see what a sellout money can buy. Now, I want to give y'all context of this. This is a level 56 player that could not beat me in arenas. Like I was mollywopping his ships. So his response is, clearly you're a sellout and a shill and you've just got paid for things. Bear in mind, I'm doing this with a tier 6 Vorcha. I don't have Tantalus Field. I don't have Fleet Commander Lorca. I don't have Q Cannon. I don't have any of the PvP things. Here's why I won. He's running Speed Cruise and Khan. And he gets mad at me. You damn shill. How dare you use a PvP crew? Of course I win. But anyway, I'm a shill. That's the only negative I've got. I got called a shill and a sellout for beating a 56's Speed Cruise. So that is what it is, I guess. That's the only negative one I've gotten. But I'm really big on, I love fostering positivity amongst the community, because we, the community, the only thing that's going to keep this game alive. Like, no offense, Scopely. Scopely's not keeping this game alive. We are. So I want the community to have fun. So I'm always trying to be kind to the community when I'm in game. That's the only negative one I've got. Yeah. Yeah, how dare you? Now, there's nothing wrong with running a speed crew if you're the level 56, right? But generally, you're not doing it with a tier 3 Sompek. Tier 3 Sompek needs to kind of focus more on punching than running. But anyway, it is what it is. Does Dane work with increasing faction rep while in Mirror Universe hitting the positive faction traders? I'll be honest, Dave, I've not tried that out. My most recent use of Dane was actually on here in PvP. He's below decks for some extra speed. Actually, have not personally. I thought we actually had this conversation, and he should work. He absolutely should. If anybody can confirm, I don't remember testing this, but I remember us talking about it. Dane does work as an officer for increasing rep earned in Mirror. Right? Somebody in chat, let me know. I'm pretty sure he does, but I don't remember if I actually tested that or not. I apologize for not having the answer readily available. But I do believe he does work for Mirror grinding. All right, Jules says yes. Thank you. Jules is one of our number crunchers. Jules will know. Jules says yes. Correct. Just his ability should work just like Enterprise E Picard, 5 of 11, etc. EMH dock below decks to increase rep from each hit. So, we put a speed crew on your tier 4 Sompek a bunch, but mostly when I want to run down protectors or other small ships. And see, that makes sense to me. But that was a match where I was the power player. So that was a match where I was the 53. And I was going against so it's actually a good example of what we were talking about earlier. Because in that match, it was me, a 47, which was Asteroid, and Soul, who was, I think, a 45, something like that. So I was the power player, and we got matched against the 56. That 56 did not take me on power versus power. He tried to speed me versus power, and he lost. And we ended up winning that match. So, and shout out Jules. Good to see you here, man. You found you do better at arenas since doing a speed crew and mantis singing, since I normally am a lower ops. I say that all the time, Caleb. If you are the lower ops in an arena run, your job is speed and support. Speed and support. Your job is to tie up armadas, to run armadas, to get every beetle you see. And this is an underrated thing I don't see enough of our low levels doing. So if you're a low level who does do arenas, hear this. If you are running speed, every beetle you see, whether you need it or not, destroy it. Because a beetle is an immediate launch of a regular solo armada. Everyone you see, kill them. That is one of your jobs as a low level. Please pay attention to your job. Don't let them get the beetles. Your job is to make sure they get no beetles. They have to grind out 4 hits or have a loot crew on the regular traders. And for those that know what I'm talking about with the beetles, it's the cruisers, the little Ferengi Devore flying around. Kill those, all of them. Even if you can't get the rewards, tying up. This goes back into the video I talked about, the top strategies, zone manipulation and zone dominance. You need to control the map. That's part of controlling the map. Anyway, Andrea says they never run their strongest ship in the first round if you think you can go speed. If I'm the power player, I always run the strongest ship because my goal is to, especially if I'm facing like a 56, my hope is to come in, sneak in a Sting or a Cerritos boost so they don't expect it and punch them in the mouth. And I've learned there are so many players that if you punch them in the mouth at the very beginning of the match in arenas and you beat them, they then believe they cannot beat you no matter what you're running. This has happened to me so many times. Not every time, but so many times I've run into like a 56 or a 57. I boosted or they got stung, smacked them in the face, and they immediately went, well, clearly he's better than me. Avoid him. And it happens all the time. So I always bring power out first, and sometimes I get punched in the mouth. The difference is I'm not scared. I'll go punch you in the mouth even if I lost. But another tactic. Anyway, too much arenas. Does anyone know at what ops level G4 epics get added to the Armada claims, if ever? They do get added, and it's... there's a chart. JV, is this in the Master Ops chart? I want to say it's 48 or 49. Hell, it might be 50. I know we actually have the old school graphics in my Discord pinned, but I don't remember if it's in the Master Ops chart. But they do, in fact, get added in. All right. What's your favorite 3-star faction ship? This one. That one. She's gorgeous. Beautiful. Klingons are forever. All right. I'm Opsol 46. I joined at 39 in it and dominate the ability for the challenger to never even do anything. Well, you mean a 40? It's in the ops progression chart? Thank you, Tooler. I thought it was, but with JV here, I always like asking before I fumble around. Let's pull up the ops progression chart. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Doo, 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 doo. All right. Looking for Armada ship. Where's the Armada? Armada pulls. Hey, there we go. Found it. Give me just a second. I'll put it on the screen. All right, so we're going into the 40s. Who's clicking things in here? I see people clicking. I see people clicking things. All right, so here's the Master Ops chart. Again, one of the many 4,000 things in the Discord. Right up here, 49, G4 epics. Ship BPs from Armada chest. Oh my goodness, I messed it up. Let me go find that again. Here you go, but this is, again, one of the many things we have in the Discord. This is the Master Operations chart. The level 49 has the G4 epics in the Armada chest. In the away team store, you can get them at 48. So. Well, Furry, there's plenty of things for a lower level to do, right? There's not a shortage of things for somebody in the 20s to do. I have an account at level 25 that I play every day. There's no shortage of things to do. So it's not like lowers have nothing to do. There's a ton for lowers to do. The whole goal of the lower game at the moment is to try to speed up their gameplay so they can get higher, and that's a big part of it. It's what my low account is currently doing. It's working on locking the Vidar, going through my grinds, mastering everything, and trying to get into the 30s and 40s as quickly as I can. But they've made the game early on much more smooth and progressive. So, let's see. Where are we at on time? All right, we've got a couple minutes left before we wrap up. Don't forget, we will be live on Twitch tonight. We'll be playing War Thunder together as a community, and maybe even some Star Trek Fleet Command. And last but certainly not least, if y'all have not done the survey yet, today is the last day to get your survey opinions in. Even if you're like Puggle and you're low level, we want your opinion. Want your opinion. Everybody participate in the survey. Every opinion is valid, welcome, etc. And the lowest level we've had who's done the survey so far is, I believe, a level 14. I'm just looking here. A couple level 15s, a bunch of 20s. Obviously, we have a ton of people in the 40s and 50s who do it, but all low levels are, encouraged to participate as well. So, thank you, Derek, for being around. When you start asking for G6 ships in the away team store, how about G5 ships in the away team store before G6? I'd like to get G5 ships at the store first before we get G6 in there. I mean, no, not disagreeing with you. Absolutely would love that as well. But I would, let me get some G5 first. I'm just sitting here on things that I can't even use at the moment in my away team store just because there's nothing there. I've already got all this. I mean, I technically don't have a Newton. So I guess I could actually start going for a Newton. I don't have a Newton, but let's get some G5. G6 as well. You know what? If they give me G6, as long as G5 comes in coupled together, I'm happy. Right? I'll take it. And thank you, Eric, for being here. I appreciate you. I really do. Appreciate all of y'all. Let's see. Where are we at? I've had that weird, sound in my head for the longest. All right. Pop this. All right, cool. You can always go for an Enterprise A. Andreas, I feel like you've been absent the past week. You mean like this? Yeah. Okay. Also, to further your point, I got an ISS jelly that needs to be finished leveling so I can scrap it. I got 33 more levels to go. Oh my God, it takes forever. Yeah. So I'm right there with you. Good strategy, Andreas. I'm glad you recognize it. Good strats. Which Ops 34 faction ship would you recommend? Augur or Enterprise? Either one would be great. Not that the D4 is bad, but the two best ones in today's game in terms of mixing what you need, especially ships that need certain materials, etc. Enterprise or Augur, either one would be very good. Both have their advantages, both are very good. All right. Or releasing G7. Well, Jadzia, G7 is a long way away. So, or just get all three. Also, completely fair. Completely fair. I have a D4 sitting right here, maxed out. Haven't finished leveling it, but hey, I'm not going to scrap it because I need at least one D4 to have this skin up at any given time, just so I can have my Klingon fleet. You ever get really? All right, I know we're kind of sidetracking here. Where are you going? Where are you going? I don't know what he's doing, but anybody else get really weird? Like you're really into maybe Federation or something and you load out all your ships for that faction and just look at them together. Does anybody else do that or is it just me? Does anybody else do that? You ever just nerd out you're the Romulans or the Klingons and you just look, what are you doing? Why are you leaving? Come back here. What? Apparently I made the Vorcha mad. Just me? Fair. That's fair. I was hoping that there were other, weirdos out there like me. Okay, I'm getting sick of you running away, Vorcha. Anyway, if my Vorcha would behave, it's a very bad behaving dog. He does not listen. Doesn't listen at all. But I love just being here's my Klingon loadout. Here's my Federation loadout around my docks. I mean, I'll admit it. I'm weird and I'm different. It's okay. All right, everybody go back in the house. Stop it. Just can never get the Vorcha to behave. Yeah, you've never just oh man, look at the graphics and been look at all my Klingon ships around, but nobody does that? All right, whatever. Shame Rev for being weird. Is what it is. Is what it is. Appreciate y'all for putting up with me. I'm going to wrap up for the day. Kinslayer says they do it. Heck yeah, I got at least one more. Thank you. We're going to wrap up the YouTube stream for the day. If you need any more help, reach out to me on Discord and or Facebook. Love and appreciate every single one of you. Thank y'all so much for being the supportive community that you are. Thank you for the people who support the channel financially to allow me to keep doing this and support my family and work with two companies that we work with. We partner with both Gaijin and Scopely. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all more than I can ever express. Live long and plunder. Stay safe with those Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next episode where I embarrass myself again, and that'll be tonight.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.